Here. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. It's March 13th, 2023. We've got 7 games on the NBA docket tonight. Hopefully we can finagle a solid player pool for our DFS streets. I'm losing head. I don't hear nothing. Where's my snare? Why is that happening? Is that better? Alright. Whatever. We'll do it live. What's up, Blocks Me? What up, CT? What up, Jake? Beats Bets. Nathan had a $500 win on NASCAR over the weekend. Let's go. What's up, Archie? Oh, Archie. What up, Phil? Phil still. Where are we starting on subs today? 8525. So 25. That's an easy one to remember. Let's see if we can get 5 to 10 before the end of the stream. We'll see. What up, Crispy? What up, King of all trades here? I hope you guys are doing all right today. Vibing out. How was y'all's weekend? I think what I do over the weekend, really nothing. Fortnite. That's pretty much it. A little weekend off. Last couple weeks and weekends been going out of town, wrestling stuff. You know, it's good to be a homebody here and there. What up, Smoothie? Ryan, Unlucky, Kiefer. Look at y'all rolling in here. I appreciate that. A lot of love right off the rip, man. What do we got for news? What's up, J. Cole? Jermaine Cole. Let's refresh Underdog. What up, Conscious? Gotta love DraftKings. Hold on, let me turn this down. Gotta love DraftKings giving us Massachusetts all these bonuses bets and bets for Bruins to have a shot on goal plus 100. Celtics to score a point plus 100. Make our accounts good. Yeah, man. I said it and if you're not on a state that has sports betting yet, hopefully your state will adjust soon. I think Texas just might surprise people this year. all these sports bets that are basically creating a market, they're going to be unloading so many type of promotions. So take advantage of them for sure. And then, like I said, don't just stick with one, right? You don't have to just sports bet on DraftKings. You can have multiple accounts. It's the best way to shop best prices on bets that you like. And it's also the best way to take advantage of a lot of those introductory promotions and create that overall bankroll. So you should absolutely be doing that. Good chill weekend. That's good to hear. All right, check it out. Underdog news. Before we get hit first, Joe Ingles listed out. Caleb Martin listed probable. Kyle Lowry available. And then the key news, Giannis Antetokounmpo is questionable. I don't know why those sticks for questionable. Kyrie questionable. Rudy Gobert questionable. Buddy Hield questionable. Kyle Lowry, we now know probable. Şengün's probable. Draymond's probable. Bogey questionable. And Kuminga questionable. So if any news drops as we're going game by game, be sure to spam the chat. Let me know. Let's open up the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Before we do that, I do want to put out and plug this because this is a rare thing. All the memberships that we have on RunDFS.com, it's like one size fits all, a little something for everything, and they all come with these Fantasy Cruncher vouchers, all that good stuff. Well, I've had 2 people hit me up in the last month. They're like, "Yo, Gun, love your content, but I already have all these subs with all these sites, but I want your MLB stuff, but I don't need optimizers. I don't need none of that stuff because I already have it." And I was like, "Oh, well, and then I was like, you know what? It wouldn't be that hard to make that happen." So we made it happen in the off day. So if that's something that describes you, the MLB season package, bare bones, none of that extra stuff. You only get the MLB Discord access. You don't get all the other stuff. You don't get the vouchers or whatever, but you do get the full spreadsheet access and the Discord voice chats for the entire season. $199. That is not listed on the RunDFS.com website. So if you guys are interested, go to my Twitter. I believe it's my pinned tweet, or I think we threw it in the free Discord. Let me see. Is that the right Discord? It is. In the free Discord in the announcement. So yeah, lock in on that because I don't know how long I'm going to leave that up, but it's an option now. So shout out to those of you asking to make that happen. It means a lot that you guys respect the baseball grind like that. So, all right, let's do the spreadsheet. Yep. Should open more accounts. MGM casinos offering easy bets. Yeah, all the different big ones. And then not only taking advantage of the promotions, but like I said, taking advantage of the best prices, right? Because if you like a Embiid rebound prop, one site might be minus 118, one site might be minus 125, one site might be minus 108. Like, you can get a lot of extra value by shopping the different props, and that's something that helps out long term. Always make the analogy to like gas prices, right? Like, it in the grand scheme of it, like I don't know, a 6 cent difference in price for gas doesn't seem like a lot because it's only 6 cents. But you show pulling into the gas station that has the 6 cents cheaper one. It's kind of the same for sports betting, right? What's up, Noel? What up, Cot? All right, game number 1 tonight. The Pacers at the Pistons. Project starting 5 for the Pacers. Andrew Nembhard, Buddy Hield, Chris Duarte, Aaron Naismith, Isaiah Jackson taking on Killian Hayes, Rodney McGruder, Isaiah Livers, Eugene Omoruyi. Why are you running? You're ruining it. James Wiseman. We got 226 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Pacers. Tons of news and notes for this one. Because the injury reports is nuts. First of all, on the Pacers side, we know Halliburton, Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Miles Turner. We know they're out. You know what's crazy? We got word that they would be out shortly after the last game, even though they were questionable all day. I hate stuff like that. I was like, these guys were questionable all day, but you know now in advance that they're going to be out the next game too. Squirrely stuff, right? And then Buddy Hield has a Q tag on the Piston side. Bagley, Bojan, Alec Burks, Ham Diallo, Jay Nivey, Isaiah Stewart, all listed as out. Try and get a Buddy Hield update. What's up, Corey? What's up, Dave? Left foot soreness, questionable to play. All right, cool. So this is probably going to be the source. Even if it's the only game at lock, it's going to be a source of a lot of value and a lot of ownership, more than likely. And this is a run back, right, of the last outing. So let's go to rotations for Pacers and Pistons. Probably chase a lot because very similar circumstances. I think the one that is already screaming at me off the rip is I want something on Killian Hayes. I don't see what the price is. I was thinking about assists for Killian Hayes since he's essentially the only ball facilitator. They're at 8.5. Wow, that's really good. And then points is 13.5. So points and assists, maybe combine the two things that I trust them to do the most. I think that might be the play for me. So looking at the on-off court too. Let's go to the Pistons. Put Hayes on the court, and I'm not gonna go through the nonsense of who all was in and out. Let's just set the date to the 11th. But we do have decent sample size of Hayes without like Ivy and Cunningham and all those guys. So I think his assist rate is gonna be really high. Focus on Nemhard right now. I can see that. What's up, Danny? In that game, Hayes had a 50% free throw rate, or excuse me, assist rate, 1.3 fantasy point per minute, 26.5% usage. All right, let's elongate on the sample size a little bit. Let's go to February 1, and then let's take off Ivy and Burks. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good-looking names in this game. 31% assist rate. So that's really good. I'm thinking points and assists is what my gut is liking. Let's see what the market is saying. Recently adjust from 7.5 to 8.5. That's fair. Points. $13.5. Steam on the over in many spots. We've already seen it move to 14.5 on DraftKings, and we have it at 13.5. So there's right now odds value on just straight up points, so I would probably take that while you can, and then we can combine them. I like the points and assists together quite a bit as well, so let's throw that in a tier 2. Killian Hayes points and assists, and the line is 22.5, right? I'm cool with that. Over 22.5. For DFS, they're like this entire game is in play. I'm going to be extremely high in Killian Hayes. Magruder's still projecting like a solid value on DraftKings. James Wiseman in that front court now without Stewart, Bagley. Are we thinking props on him? Maybe rebounds. 9 rebounds. That's right there on the nose. He was at 7.5. Yeah. Lots of steam. 9.5. So we've seen this at it got moved down from 9.5 to 9. All right. Maybe fantasy points is the best way to go for him. 30.5. I have him at 36. So I got a decent gap there. So let's do that. Let's nominate 30.5 fantasy points as a tier 3. On the Pacer side, without... I guess the Buddy Hield news is pretty important because Buddy Hield would probably represent 20 plus shot attempts in this split, right? He had 15 in that last game, just 27 minutes. If he can't go and they full punt it, what are we thinking? Duarte, Nemhard? Do we even have anything up here? Yeah, Indiana, right? And we don't. All right, so the Hield news is that impactful. So for DFS, we can next man up. A lot of Nemhard exposure. I already have a ton of them anyway at this projection. Same with Chris Duarte, going to be core value on both sides. And then Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, all those guys going to look pretty solid. Jordan Nwora. Maybe you put those guys in a group. Jackson, Smith, Nwora, 2 of 3, something like that. But yeah, this game's going to be a source, a lot of stocking stuffer value. And then ownership-wise, a lot of ownership in this game. Matter of fact, it looks like the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 owned players come from this game at 30 to 50+%. So that's your table setter for the slate for sure. What's up, Miguel? What up, Chester? Here. Hope you guys are doing all right. Hayes is now at 1 free throw. I can get down with that too. Trying to build without Indy, Detroit is just impossible. It's so hard to get by him, man. I think if you just are a contrarian player and you want to get different, maybe just set some rules, or instead of going like 4 deep in this game, go 3 deep. You know what I mean? Something like that, and just hope you tap into the true ceiling. But if the Pacers end up without Buddy Hield, it becomes even harder to look at because Hield's the only guy in this game over 6K essentially. I don't know if this is real or not. I got like I swear, you know how Twitter recommends tweets in like push noties and stuff? One of them came from a verified account, which means nothing these days. Let me check out the true news. But it looked kind of official, but it's certainly not. It was like Aaron Rodgers been traded to the Jets. I was like, what? But there's not a real household source on that, but it is a verified account. I like Jackson and Nemhard the most off of Indy. Yeah, I agree. Both of them coming in at 30 plus fantasy point projections for me. Kelly O over 23 fantasy points was at 22.5. His PRA is at 20.5 with heavy juice. All right. Could you full on game stack this and have a legit chance to place? Sure. If you mean like a 3v3, I don't know if I would go that far. Maybe a 3v2 or 2v2. Because you still are, I mean, we're using these pieces to get the ceiling, right? And this happened the other night. At some point, when the slate has infinite value, we start throwing away some of the more textbook laws of DFS, like the 5x plus 10 or whatever. Once a slate gives you infinite value, it becomes a game of raw points, and you essentially just get stuck in stud and scrub. So if you full stack this game, like there's probably not a lot of 50 fantasy point or 60 fantasy point outcomes here, but it is a massive table setter. So I would imagine in cash games and single entries, you're going to see a lot of 2v2s, maybe in a 3v2. 3v3 is probably a little much to have a shot at first place, but if the question is just a cash, yeah, probably. What's up, Amazement? Hope you're doing all right. Any love for Booker? I see he's on your thumbnail. Yeah, Booker's in a great spot, pace up spot. And it usually 10K Booker, you start like, but today raw points is raw points. And looking at the fantasy point projections, Booker comes in top 10, so he's got several people above him. but I do like him. What's up, Daniel? It's 313 day. Let's go Pistons. 313. Is that like a area code up there? I was thinking about Wiseman and points, but I don't like playing losing team around this time. Yeah, I'll probably go with the fantasy points for Wiseman, but I get what you're saying. This is definitely getting to that period of the season where we want to focus on the teams that have stuff to play for and win. Wiseman is one of those weird case studies where maybe still has something to prove considering his last couple of years and his draft stock, but and this front court's extremely depleted. So I wouldn't want to overthink it, but yeah, you don't have to create stuff out of nothing if there's several alternatives. And I think this like going to give us a little bit. And I already have 2 props I'm pretty happy with from this one. And one of them is Wiseman though. But we don't have Pacers props yet. So once that news drops on Hield, if like for instance if Buddy Hield is out, you'd probably anticipate guys like Chris Duarte and Nembhard to really get big bumps, and Duarte might take 15 plus shot attempts. Same with Nembhard. Saw 11 in 33 minutes last game. Nembhard took 15, so might be considering those guys for real points or even fantasy points, because I'm not sure if PrizePicks will have them priced efficiently. Tired of working, gonna win 500K and become a big shot. I wanna be a millionaire. I can get down with that. All right, next game on the docket, 7:30. So once you make your decisions on the Pistons and Pacers, you do have plenty of time to late swap. We got the T-Wolves at the Hawks. This is a massive game total. Project starting 5 for the T-Wolves. Mike Conley crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game. How'd they get tickets? Rudy Gobert up against Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella. 244.5 total, 5.5 point spread favor the Hawks. That is one of the juicier totals that we've seen all year. And we look at the team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, we'll find that the T-Wolves and the Hawks both boast top half of the league pace ratings. So this should be a very fast-paced game, and a lot to like here, especially thinking about how strong ceilings are tonight. We go back to the player projections tab. We have Anthony Edwards right around the top 6, could be top 5 if we lose Kyrie Irving. Trae Young right behind him, 48-50 fantasy points, and DeJounte Murray at 8,300 on DraftKings. The only guy in the I guess that's not true. I got Jaren Jackson and De'Aaron Fox up there as well. But the cheapest guy, I would say, in the top 15 in terms of projected fantasy points at 8,300. So certainly worth looking his way here. So gonna like a lot of ceiling potential in this game for DFS. And then some of these mid-tier guys have a case here. Now, Clint Capella, 6,800 on FanDuel, 6,200 on DraftKings. He seems to be like a Cinderella click game to game. And I feel like his success is extremely volatile. We've seen foul trouble, we've seen benchings in the fourth quarter, and we've seen big games as well. In this spot against Gobert, a little bit more traditional big, you might expect them to lean on him a little bit more. Boston without Robert Williams, we saw a little bit more athletic front court. And then the back-to-back games at Washington, where I believe he had big foul trouble in the in the second quarter against Washington, and then in both games, I think he might have lost out on the fourth quarter run. Let's verify that. Capella, no, he closed out in the second Washington game. In the first Washington game, he closed out as well. It was still just 25 minutes. So they are feeding Okongwu 20 minutes as well. And it could be, I guess, a hot hand situation against Boston. We saw Capella not close out that game in the interest of Okongwu. So there's a lot of volatility when it comes to Clint Capella's minutes and production. So I might leave him off Might leave him off my cards tonight. And I don't even think I'm that enthralled with him in DFS. A lot of these 5 to 6K guys have a lot of competition in the first game. So maybe inversely, he's possibly a pivot as a center and the highest total, most implied possessions here. But I think I'm going to stay away from him. Trae Young and DeJounte are the 2 guys for me. Trae Young, I doubt we're going to get him a single-digit assist with a 240 total, but we have him at 10 assists. Gotta assume if the Hawks live up to 120 points, Trae Young has a lot of assists. Dorothy was so bad last game, so DFS lock. Yeah, you gotta have goldfish memory. I almost like prefer if I was going. I don't know if I had to like leave out half the tests and research. I would probably care more about shots attempted than shots made long term. You know what I mean? Volume. I appreciate opportunity over results. Results aren't always predictive, right? But volume has a better path to predicting upside. I guess you guys get what I'm saying. I need some caffeine, but I don't want to drink a second Monster without eating. So. What am I here for? Trae Young, 10.5. So market is showing 10.5 at spots, and we're getting 10. So I guess there's a little bit of value with some push ability. So I can get behind Trae Young here. Let's put him at tier 3 for now, over 10 assists, and then might even consider his fantasy points. But I do worry about turnovers sometimes with Trae, and he doesn't really offset it much, does he, with steals? Sometimes. I'll take the 10 over. 10.5, I'm a little bit more whatever. Also points. What are all the options here? 27.5 points. We probably combine that for 37.5. We do. Fantasy points is at 46.5. I have him at 49. I think assists is the one I'm most intrigued by, but it is close to top shelf. DeJounte Murray, 46 fantasy points. Let's pull him up. Let me move that over. There we go. 5.5 assists for DeJounte. That feels low. Yeah, it's so BetMGM, that line is at -140. Bleacher Report -132. PointsBet -130. DraftKings -135. So we're getting odds value on that in a 5-pick. We'll put that as a tier 2. 5.5 assists. I probably wouldn't put that with Trae Young on the same card just for correlation's sake, but in terms of odds value, we're getting a deal here, and this also probably suggests we won't see 5.5 for very long. So it'll probably move to like 6.5 on PrizePicks soon. So if you like that, a little bit of implied value there. Yeah, let's get caught up on chat. Mason said Edwards fantasy points because he could just get steals and blocks. I can get down with that. What's your favorite Edwards prop? He's back home in Atlanta. I think he has a monster game. I'm certainly a subscriber of that. 51.6 fantasy points is my projection. Edwards is at 43.5. I'm massively leaning the over on that, bro. Like massively. So that's probably the one for me, fantasy. Over 43.5 FPS. John Collins over 21.5 fantasy points. Seems like PrizePicks hasn't adjusted for his uptick in minutes. Is it? Let's see. 30, 28, 29. What's the correlation? Was he just not playing minutes? 4 fouls against Miami. Slower pace matchup. 4 fouls. Slower pace matchup. I do think that's a low enough number though, because of the total, right? So 21.5 fantasy, and we have them for 26. I'm over. It's not a massive gap, but it's not small either. So I would agree with that. Last game, Bogdan. So I don't know why I put Bogdan. Was there a game without Sadiq Bey? Was he? No, it was just Bogdan in the last game, right? Yeah, it was just Bogdan last game. I don't mind it. Plus, Gobert is now probably gonna have to crash the boards too. Let's see what the situation with Gobert is then. Gobert has been like questionable all year. Minnesota, left ankle sprain, injured ankle in Friday's game against the Nets, may hold him out. All right, so he could not play, and then if that happened, it would open up Nas Reed as well. So, how do you feel about Hayes over 15.5 points and over 9.5 assists plus 360? So combined, that's what, 25? I had to get over 22.5. So at plus 360 against the Pacers, I'd probably take a shot at it. But that's just a for fun bet. It wouldn't be anything other than just a little for fun, identifying a good matchup in a market that may just not know what to do with somebody like Killian Hayes based on who's active and the matchup and the lack of actives in the matchup. So I would do it, like if I just had, fire it off. So I don't mind it. Energy drinks are terrible for your heart. Yeah, everything out there will kill you, bro. I've been on monster kick lately. If it means anything, I do the sugar-free ones. Young over on points. I kind of like maybe points and assists over. All right. What's up, Daryl? Capella under PRA or fantasy score? I just think that his results are so volatile game to game that that's not where I'm gonna succeed or die. It's just if I get to if I want to attack Capella having a ceiling game, I probably just have access in DFS. I just think his day to day is too volatile for me to want to take action on, especially this far out when his opponent Rudy Gobert is true questionable. DeJounte was massively over. Yeah. Also, so I like his assists, but I don't expect that to last too long at that price. What's his fantasy? DeJounte 37.5, and I'm at 46. So yeah, it is massive over as well. So let's do or 37.5 FPS. Dude, we could definitely same game parlay this for PrizePicks, bro. I mean, this is such a ridiculous total, and we're getting DeJounte is averaging 6 assists a game, on average. Now you put him in a way above average total. It just feels like PrizePicks has got some low lines for this game. What up, Squeak? What up, Ocean? Ice Cold Monsters, Heavenly. Yeah. We all have our vices. Red meat. Any chance O'Shea Brissett can be okay from the Pacers? I have him at 17 minutes, about a point per minute. What did he actually do last game? Pretty similar circumstances pre-flop. Played 19. I mean, you're probably trying to rinse every bit of chicken grease off of that napkin. And he closed out for a rebound, so he probably only had 17 true minutes in a actual game. So loosely there's a chance, but more than likely you're just getting point per minute and 17 to 18 minutes, maybe 19. So I don't know that if everything locked right now, I don't know if that he's a slate breaker. But I guess if Buddy Hield didn't play, there's maneuverability in this lineup that could push maybe Naismith or Jordan Nwora out there, and they could just be putting bodies on the court. But from this far out, if Buddy Hield played, I wouldn't really have any conviction behind wanting to be behind Brissett in where we're at now, just 17 to 19 minutes of point per minute basketball. Who you got for tonight? Heat or Jazz? Probably the Heat. Rinse that greaseless, sir. All right, let's move on. Mavericks hosting the Grizzlies. Project starting 5 for the Grizzlies: Tyus Jones, Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Xavier Tillman taking on Jaden Hardy, Kyrie Irving, Josh Green, Reggie Bullock, Dwight Powell. Why is his stats not showing? You know what? I gotta do something, chat. 1 second. I forgot to take out the juniors and the seniors, I guess. Meticulous process here. Bear with me. All right, that should fix that. Back at it. Boom. Jaren Jackson stats. All right, cool. So Kyrie Irving, we thought he would play. At least I thought he would play last game because it seemed like his Q tag was personal reasons, but then he got ruled out anyway after going through shoot around. So true questionable, I guess, is the best way to put Kyrie. Right foot soreness is the designation. Back-to-back, same team. What's to the dismay of Dylan Brooks? What's that about? So if he can go at 10.5K, he needs to be the king of the mountain tonight, because with the amount of value here, you're going to have to pair the value with the top fantasy scorer and a slate that might have Giannis. But with that said, it's coming in as the third highest owned raw fantasy point projection. So it's definitely possible because he's going to have infinite usage. So wonder where he would fall in ownership. I don't know if he's included in today's ownership. He is single digit. All right. If he can't go, we're just running back literally the last game, and Jaden Hardy kind of looks like a good value. I think we have learned all year long that Christian Wood just isn't that guy, pal. And he tends to, in situations where like Kyrie and Luka are down all year, we've seen Christian Wood get this inflated ownership. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, who was there Saturday? Somebody asked about that. And I was like, man, Christian Wood at 40% has been volatile all year. And he was my fade of the day that day. And that worked out because he only played 15 minutes. And after the game, they asked Jason Kidd about that situation. And he gave some quote where it was just like, it's hard to play him when Maxi Kleber is out here, playing well. I'm just like, man, what a bunch of malarkey. So maybe after last game, that's the final straw, and the field will finally learn their Christian Wood lesson. But I just wanted to address that, or at least remind everybody, in case we do lose Kyrie Irving, maybe don't run to Christian Wood, because on top of volatile minutes, it's not necessarily a great matchup anyway if he's crossing up with Jaren Jackson Jr. or anything like that. So if we do lose Kyrie as well, yeah, Jaden Hardy, uptick in minutes and looks like a solid value, but no one here giving me the warm fuzzies because of the matchup and because of the coach. On the Grizzlies side, Jaren Jackson Jr. coming in at a ridiculously high FanDuel projection, and it might be because of the +3s in the block column. 2+ blocks almost implied here. Got 26 fantasy points in that last game against Dallas, 3 for 12. You might expect him to improve upon that. But again, no one from this game, because of what's elsewhere, the 240 plus total, the Pistons game. Not really running too much from here. Charles, thank you so much for the sub. I hope you're doing all right today. So a lot of tier 3 spray and pray, and I don't really think it's worth shopping props at this stage. And we probably don't even have Dallas props, huh? Dallas? No. Anything on the Memphis side you guys want to dabble with? 2.5 threes for Desmond, maybe. What's that looking like? Yeah, he's not chucking like I thought he would be, at least from the 3-point line. So unless it's like Jaren Jackson fantasy, because I have a massive number on it. Maybe I got to add some more logic to it, because that's a ridiculous discrepancy. I'm not sure what would be causing that. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get caught up in chat. Murray 5.5 assists will move if you agree. He's at 6 other places, and his RNA was at 11.5. All right, cool. Good little odds value notey there. I appreciate that. If you guys ever see that, no matter what game I'm on, if you see some crazy odds value, which is better than or worse than minus 118, depending on how you're looking at it, always alert the chat. Share with the class. So I'm getting ahead a little, but you think THC gets any ownership tonight after his last game and Clarkson out? Probably. Ownership projections list. Actually, I don't know if this is adjusted to the Jordan Clarkson news. Yeah, I think it is. Not as much as I would think, but we'll see if that changes. But he is kind of in no man's land, and we have a lot of value at guard today, so maybe that makes him lower owned than you would expect. What up, Aaron? What do you think about the Dylan Brooks comments about being ready and seeing what Kyrie got? I think the chatter started from last time they played. Yeah, Dylan Brooks is just all over the place. Boost for Kyrie. Maybe. Kyrie doesn't seem like a vengeance guy. But just, narrative be darned. Without Luka, I mean, he's probably going to have 40% plus usage, right? We can put a number on that. We don't have to make obscure stuff out of the air. Kyrie. But sure, if Uncle Drew wants to show a young blood a crossover or two, I can get behind that. But Dylan Brooks, man. Dylan Brooks. You would think. 1.2, that's it? Really? That's it? That's actually crazy. That feels like it's not right. 1.2 fantasy point per minute, 26% usage, 30% assist rate. Huh. Yeah, I don't have. And Tyus Jones is a formidable defender, and so is Dylan Brooks. So not necessarily an explosive upside matchup for Kyrie, but I'm a fan of usage. Bane over assist, you think so? Kessler over fantasy score or rebound with I'm assuming it's Walker Kessler, not Kessler Edwards. With Walker Kessler, he's such a ridiculous block guy that if you're torn between the two, I think the fantasy points for PrizePicks is the way to go. 3 blocks, 5 blocks, 4 blocks. I mean, that's plus 3, so that's 9, 15 fantasy points. So I would almost always use that as a tiebreaker if I got in that predicament. Aldama PRA, you think so? Let's see, 25 minutes on Aldama, I guess so, without Clark lately. Let's see what that last game. Aldama played 22 minutes. I feel like I would never be at the Aldama table here, but here we are. No, it's okay. PRA is 16.5. Is there just like incredible value there, or you just got that feeling in your bad knee? Minus 120 over 16.5, 15.5 set minus 122. So markets kind of disagree on what the line even is. and we have it at 16.5. So we have the higher one. So I don't like have any real reason to be here. But if you just think it's a underpriced spot, see 10, 15, 16. Yeah, I don't really have a reason to be here. I expect this to be a slower game. So, not something I'm probably hitting. Good tiebreaker. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure, and I haven't looked this up, but I'm pretty confident the sentence Walker Kessler's the highest blocks per 36 is probably true. Matter of fact, I think he caught up to Jaren Jackson, and he hasn't played, much less time. Let's move on to the Heat hosting the Jazz. Project 35 for the Jazz. Taylor Horton, Tucker, Akbaji, Lowry, Markin, and Kelly Olynyk, and Walker Kessler taking on Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Jimmy G, buckets, Kevin Love, and Bam Adebayo. Got 225.5 total. 8-point spread to favor the home team, Miami Heat. Slower pace game on the surface here. Pace down spot for the Jazz with the Heat. Pretty sizable home favorites. We do have Kyle Lowry available, so the Heat are just no warm fuzzies through and through. And on the Utah Jazz, without Jordan Clarkson, he did get ruled out. We know Sexton's out. We've been looking at Taylor Horton Tucker, Chris Dunn for value. This is probably one of the worst spots we've seen for these guys yet, but we did just see a ceiling out of THT that was the nuts against Charlotte. Now, Charlotte to Miami might be one of the most polarizing differences in back-to-back matchups, right? Let me skip this song. I gotta delete that from the playlist. I feel like I always skip it because it just sounds like some guy moaning in my ear, and I just no thank you. No thank you. Almost triple-double there. I think there was some controversy that some rebounds got taken away, whatever. But yeah, 24 shot attempts, and most of them were driving to the paint here. So he does have a true ceiling, but we don't want to overreact to what was a pretty nutty matchup. Don't have any sample size against Miami here. Do we have sample size against like a similarly paced team and grindy defense? 38 fantasy points against Dallas. It's a 7K price point, so that doesn't really sway me much. Same against Memphis, grindier defense. You would really have to throw 40 plus out of the way, and this is probably the epitome of a tournament decision that I want to be opposite the field. And it doesn't look like the field is overreacting based on the ownership report. He came in at single-digit ownership. And that's kind of the way he's at 8-9%, something like that, 10%. And if I want to get some of them, I'll be slightly over. But right now, I don't feel like I have to. Given quality for life. Thank you for the sub, man. I hope you're doing all right. Brooks isn't afraid to shoot. I'll give him that. And he plays defense. No. Isn't afraid to shoot. Come on, man. My boy Westbrook been getting tore up because he isn't afraid to shoot. I guess now he is. But he does, defensively, sure. Beast is kind of a stretch. Thoughts on Lowry? Didn't even start last game and played 36 minutes first game back. Man, when Lowry was playing 30-plus minutes as a starter, he was kind of irrelevant for fantasy. Why did he play so many minutes off the bench? What's that about? Let's see. Lowry didn't start, played 36 minutes. What happened here? Something happened for this to happen, right? Tyler Hero. Did Tyler Hero get hurt in the fourth, or they just... Do we expect Hero to get benched consistently? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to trust in Lowry after how bad he was to start the season. He didn't really do much at 4,600 and maybe got a little bit of run good on minutes. And then if he starts, like, it makes him less makes me like him less, if that makes sense. I won't be there, but like I'm not gonna. If you got that feeling, you know me, man. Go with it. They got a lot of log jam there at the guard situation, huh? Not a lot of interest for this game for me on the DFS side. I think we've got a lot of price points that have caught up. Usually when it comes to the Heat, we like to sniff out a guy that'll chuck threes for us and usually hit an over 1.5 or 2.5 3-point prop. Do we have that? We have Markkanen at 7.5 threes. So do we get a Markkanen 3-point prop? 7.5 3-point attempts per game is what I meant. We don't. We have fantasy scorer. Anybody on Utah with a 3-point prop? Kelly Olynyk every now and then can let him launch. He's not on there. We got Tucker. He only took 5 last game on that crazy volume. Yeah, I don't really have there's only one offered, so our usual process click not offered. All right. Let's move on. Celtics, Rockets, projects 35 for the Celtics. Marcus Smart, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford. Taking on Kevin Porter, Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin, Jabari Smith, Alperen Sengun, tag on him. Peyton Pritchard, Robert Williams listed as out. 231.5 total, kind of a beefy total for a Celtics game, but 12.5 point spread. So, dealing with that dynamic of, do we get a fourth quarter? Do they get there in 30 minutes? Blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. We look at fantasy point projections and the raw fantasy points. Jason Tatum came in as number 2. However, that is on a 37-minute projection. And that's, maybe there's a good chance that doesn't get to 37 minutes today. So something we're going to deal with. If we move that down to like 30 minutes, 32 minutes, 33 minutes, obviously we're probably going to lose 1.2 to 1.5 fantasy point per minute value here. So I'm okay with whatever you guys decide on Tatum. A lot of these guys at the top are dealing with some nuances in terms of their projection. Giannis has been out a couple games. Tatum is, big spread. Kyrie, tough matchup. May not even play. So from this far out, there's a lot of volatility. I'm in love with Anthony Edwards, so that'll probably be the guy I'm most likely to have the most ownership on out of the top 10. But certainly a range of outcomes for Tatum to be the king of the mountain on today's slate with 70 plus fantasy points against a team like the Rockets. What's the last big spread here? Portland, kind of a blowout. 31 minutes in that game, 45. So yeah, those couple of minutes really matter when it comes to eclipsing that 50 fantasy point threshold. So it's just a call. Wide range of outcomes call. What's ownership telling us about Tatum? Tatum's getting 1 and 4, or excuse me, 1 and 5, between 1 and 4 and 1 and 5 ownership. So we're all playing with that deck of cards. But the Celtics might be able to attack a few range of outcomes. Brogdon's an interesting click to me if we do get a little bit lopsided. Now, we saw a couple games back, I think it was that Portland game, because I had some correlated cards where I was taking Damian Lillard unders and paired it with like Malcolm Brogdon overs, thinking it would blow out, and then Brogdon's kind of in the 6th man of the year race. So I was thinking, some of these softer spots where he gets an opportunity to shine against good spots, that he could stat pad a little bit. Well, Portland, he just didn't have a great game, and then in the final couple of minutes, they took him out and let the mop-up squad just kind of completely drive the final nail in the coffin here. But I could see a big game from Brogdon down the stretch if he truly cares about that award, which I don't know that he does, but it's just a narrative that floats around that could play into some 30-plus fantasy point games from him. The Rockets are league leaders in turnovers and blocks allowed. Do we want to attack blocks and steals with anybody from Boston? Do we have that offered? Usually we're looking at 1.5, 2.5. But I don't think we really get that offered for many. 3.5 3-pointers for Jason Tatum. That's kind of crazy, huh? Half a steal for Brogdon. Steal is kind of flimsy. 1.5 steals for Smart. Brogdon's averaging a little over half a steal, and same with that's right on the nose for Marcus Smart. So I'm probably gonna leave that alone. And then what are we thinking for fantasy? Do we want to just attack like first half fantasy on Boston if we even want to be here? Got 12.5 first half fantasy for Al Horford. Jason Tatum's at 25.5 first half fantasy. Something that he has eclipsed in all but one game, which happened to be a blowout game in his last 5, if you care about last 5s. So maybe that's one way we would get exposure to him. And Jaylen Brown at 20.5, and that's something he's also pretty likely to eclipse. He also didn't eclipse that in that random blowout Portland game, so maybe we'll list that honorary mention. Here we go. Jaylen Brown first half over 20.5 FPS, and then Jason Tatum first half over just 25 FPS, right? We'll go with that. What's Smart's fantasies at 13.5? Yeah, he's all over the earth. Q. Brogdon points and assists. You think so? What can we get on fantasy for Brogdon? Nothing, right? So he can get rebounds too, right? Do we want to chop off the rebounds? 4, 9. What about if we're trying to attack that narrative? I think PRA is the way to go. 21.5. What's the market saying? A little juice on the over, not a ton. So it's pretty linear to the implied odds on a 5-pick. So it's a gut pick if you don't have access to anything. Sure, I like it against the Rockets. Sure, I can get down with that. Let's get caught up on chat. So you might want to look at Lowry again. He looking like the lock to the slate. I'm willing to be wrong on that one. I've given Lowry way too many chances. Kyle Lowry, DKP by game log with 30 minutes last 20 games. And remember, the Heat are fully healthy. So in the last 20 games of opportunity with 30 minutes, we've got this many. And there's only 3 games where he eclipsed 30 fantasy points. And we got to go back to the day after Christmas. And I'm willing to assume that these 3 games have somebody out. So looking at all 3 of these games, day after Christmas, the 23rd, and San Antonio is just been a cupcake matchup all year, right? So let's look at all 3 of those games and see if there's constants or reasons. So Jimmy Butler did not play. Oh my God, bro. He was starting with Jovic, no Butler, no Adebayo. No thank you. Against the T-Wolves. In this game, he had everyone. So give him credit for that one. He earns it. 21, 6, and 5 against the Pacers. And then against the Spurs, everyone was in, but it's the Spurs, and he played 39 minutes. That seems a little bit on the outlier side, all things considered. So I just don't think Kyle Lowry is a consistent good play anymore. But, like I said, you got that gut feeling, right? Feeling your bad knee. That storm coming in. You click Kyle Lowry, gosh dang it. But I've clicked on him enough this season to be done clicking on him. Yeah, he should care for real. Horford over points and assists. Yeah, I think any of the Celtics over makes sense. You just have to deal with the potential blowout. So, it is what it is. What about Drew? 4.5 rebounds. He's hitting his last 5 versus Sacramento. Yo, Feedy, we might have to fix your process a little bit, bro. Let's look at these numbers here. Drew Holiday, rebounds by game log versus Kings last 10 games. So this right here is one of the most dangerous ways to research prop betting. Because if you just look at performances against a team, it usually doesn't have any predictive value or good context. But in this scenario, you're talking about the last 5. He's hit in his last 5 versus Sacramento over 4.5. Well, it looks like he didn't hit against Milwaukee, but once you get to that 4th and 5th game, you're out of this season. You're looking at, it's a different Sacramento team, more than likely, because they had a skeleton crew for the bulk of last season. Rashawn Holmes, Halliburton, Buddy Hield, like literally they're against that starting lineup has 2 players that are still on the team. So like that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? That's completely irrelevant to what happens today. Most of this is irrelevant anyway, but I just want to correct that because I know a lot of people out there lurking, and a lot of the content that's out there or right now people's processes is to look at historical success or failures against a jersey color, and that's such a bad process. Not calling you out specifically, I just really want everyone to learn. Now that's not to say that he can't eclipse 4.5 rebounds today, because it is a really good matchup and pay stuff. But for a process for researching, you should be looking at stuff that has higher predictive value, right? Minute projections. You should be looking. We'll go to that game real quick. If I wanted to look at rebound props, I'm going to look at a couple things. I'm going to look at pace, implied possessions, more opportunities. I'm going to look at the opposing team's rebound percentages. Defensively, not bad rebound rate, 73.3% defensive rebound rate, 26% offensive rebound rate. And then I want to look at individual percentages in terms of like usage. You can look at player rebound rate, stuff like that. So on the season, Drew Holiday has a rebound rate, 11% defensive rebound rate, which is actually pretty solid for a point guard. So that would be a plus. Now we do get double-digit rebound percentages for Middleton, for Giannis, for Brook Lopez. So everyone has been solid at rebounding, but those are the numbers that mean more for researching. And then another thing, if you're on PrizePicks, I always want to compare it to the market. And my baseline for PrizePicks value is -118. 5-pick flex, you're getting -118 odds value. And your over at 4.5 is actually plus money, meaning there's a lot of money on the under. -141 on Bleacher Report, -140 on FanDuel, -130 on DraftKings. So if you personally like the over 4.5 and you want to get the most value, 1, if you can sports bet it, you get plus money on it. 2, if you like the over, with this information, that there's a good chance that number actually goes down. So if you just want the over 4.5, why not wait until it's 3.5? And it might be with some time, right? Drew Holiday rebounds 4.5. Yeah. So as long as this team is on the under like it is right now at -140, when these books move their line to 3.5 or 4, PrizePicks will probably have some parity in that movement as well. So if you're on the over, wait, because you probably get a better line, or bet it on a sports book where right now you can get plus money on it. Hopefully that all makes sense, and hopefully like you didn't take any of that the wrong way. I truly meant all that with respect and love. Where were we? All right, let's get caught up in chat and we'll do the Suns game. Looking. Humboldt says, "This is my last night playing DFS basketball for a while. I need a lock." Are you on vacation or are you just taking a break? It's okay either way, but just wondering. Always trust your gut. Yeah. I won't push anybody off of their gut feelings. What's up, Maverick? I have a parlay. Draymond over assists, Mike Conley and Edwards over fantasy points, Booker over 2.5 threes, and Triple J over fantasy points. All right. Yeah, my model really likes Jaren Jackson Jr., even though he just completely tanked in the same matchup. So, yeah, sometimes you got to trust the metrics or trust the projections over the gut. Even though we just said always go with your gut. Isaiah Jackson went off playing in his hometown, doing it again. Yeah, isn't it a home road back-to-back, though? Or is it a... were both games in Detroit? I think it's just he's a great play no matter what. Yeah, okay. Back-to-back in the same city. Huh. Meanwhile, people's process is props, stat cash, and stat muse. I mean, but that's not... And that's not pointing at anybody. Like, if you are watching and that's your process... That, like, I get it. Understand, like, you don't know where to start if you're just like sitting around. All of a sudden, your state says you can sports bet. Like, you don't know any better. That's just a natural progression. So I'm certainly not trying to make fun of it. I'm just trying to make you guys sharper. But yeah, unfortunately, that is a popular process. But at the same time, we need people like that to keep the lines where they're at. Killing Hayes, 1 free throw. I think it moved from half to 1. What's up, Kev? Brogdon or Tillman as a last man on DK utility. Ooh. I guess what's the projection say? Brogdon 31.7, Tillman 32. So Tillman's got a better projection, so I'd probably go with the better projection. Typically, historically, for DFS util, if it comes between a guard and a center, similar projection, I usually go with the center just because their floor is higher, meaning a guard could have a bad shooting night. Centers are going to have a more stable floor, so I'd probably go with Tillman there. But I would maybe say Brogdon's ceiling is higher, but they're pretty healthy. If you knew better, you do better. Yeah. But, like, some people could run. Like, I don't want to run people off if that's their process in it, if that makes sense. I don't want to say, oh, you're an idiot for doing things like that. Go away. No, we build a community out here, man. I want people to adjust and become better. Like, it's not... Like, it's okay to be curious on how a player is done against a player. Like, if I look at Joel Embiid versus Giannis, whatever, historically, yeah, it's like BVP in baseball, right? People hate BVP. I don't use it to predict stuff. But yeah, sometimes I'm curious what he's done, so I get it. But that is so far down on like what I think is valuable information in terms of predicting the future that I don't know. I just wanted to share the process I would use, and I would almost never care about how a player performed against a team before the season that we're in, if that makes sense. Because there's just so much moving variables between coaching changes, roster changes, players growing in new roles, stuff like that, you know? What up, Ben? Snapping? You want to hit on DK tiers if you don't mind? Man, I haven't looked, but we'll try to open it. I'll open it on my second screen. I'll bring it over. We'll take a look at it. While we do that, let me get the plug out the way. Couple plugs. I guess the main plug is yesterday announced that because there was 2 people that had asked if we had just bare bones MLB offer, and we didn't. And I was like, you know what, we could probably make that happen. If you don't need an optimizer because you already have one, you don't care about the baseball, the NASCAR, the football, none of that. You just want the baseball because you like my stuff. You want the spreadsheet that has the index portal. We're adding DFS projections this season. The bomb detector is kind of what we're known for. The strikeout predictions, my player props, my player pools for DFS, the Discord channel, the pre-lock voice chats. We want all that for the entire baseball season, understanding it's nothing but baseball. That launched yesterday for $199, and you can only get that link either on my Twitter. Here, I'll put it in chat. It's not listed on the rundfs.com homepage. And then if you sign up and you don't see the VIP portal, hit me up, DM me, and I'll make sure that you get what you need to get. I don't know how long we're gonna offer that. That's why we didn't add it to the membership stuff, but that is something that a couple of you guys asked for, so I did add that. But that's it. That's the main plug. If you just want to get all sports that we cover, we have the basic memberships for anything and everything. The year pass is up. The MLB All-Star Break Pass, which is going to cover every sport we cover in that time span, all that good stuff. And then we still need some for the baseball league. So let me pull that up. If you guys want to get in the season-long baseball league, I have a couple spots, and a couple fun people that are in it, but I don't want to use them as ways to advertise. So jump in that, PayPal $100, hit me up on Twitter or Discord, we'll get you going. All right. And then of course, if you're not on any of these prop betting sites, sign up using code GUNDACKER. Show some love to us and get double your first deposit. My opinions don't represent guns in any way. No matter what your gut says or what you're saying, you should reference that against the books and odds, of course. Yeah. Which is what I meant. So he liked Drew Holiday over 4.5 rebounds. So if you have access to a sports book, you're getting plus money on that if you just like it. And then if you like over 4.5, well then you should love over 3.5 if you're not changing odds because you're using PrizePicks. So just wait for it to be 3.5, you know? Gun just got the most ammo. Nah. I don't have the most ammo. I just have a little bit of experience, right? Like, I'm sure if you looked at my content from 7-8 years ago, I'd probably watch it and cringe because I referenced stuff that today's gun wouldn't matter. I just, you know what I'm saying? If you guys are here, you're showing love to me, I'm gonna show love back. Kind of skip some of the stuff that you don't need to be doing, you know? Any monthly. For baseball, no, but we do just have just a month pass at Run DFS, which is $70, and that's for everything, NBA, basketball. We usually don't split up sports, but a couple people that asked me were people that I respected, and I didn't want, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to show some love to them, so. We'll see. Maybe down the line we'll think about monthly baseball, but we'll see. So bonus over for 2. All right, so let's move on to, we gotta speed it up a little bit, right? Where are we at? We're at the Suns. We only got 2 games left. All right, we're good. Suns and the Warriors. Project starting 5 for the Suns: Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Josh Okogie, Torrey Craig, DeAndre Ayton up against Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Dante DiVincenzo, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green. 236 our total, 4.5 point spread. Favor of the home team Golden State Warriors. So this is where I'm just like looking at ceiling outcomes because I think we're getting a lot of table setter value from the earlier in this slate, especially if we lose Kyrie, but the Pacers and Pistons game. So I'm looking at guys in this game that could legitimately lead the entire slate in fantasy points. And Steph Curry and Devin Booker are kind of the 2 guys that make the most sense here. And then just kind of looking at props to isolate. Chris Paul assists is kind of something that always tugs at my heartstring. We get him at 10 assists, kind of where Trae Young is priced, similar pace, similar total. Still don't mind the over, but it is starting to feel a little top shelfy. Let's see what the market says on Chris Paul. But from a DFS standpoint, I'm just kind of spraying and praying little pieces from this game. But the highest focus for me would probably be on Devin Booker and Steph Curry. Chris Paul's at 10.5. At Bleacher Report, it was at 9.5 at BetMGM. That moved a lot of steam. Wherever it was at 9.5, it got steamed up to 10. In some spots, 10.5. So I'm still okay with the over, but it'd be a lot cooler if it was 9.5. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a lane for prop betting that I want to completely strike. But for DFS, give me some Booker, give me some Paul, give me Curry. We do have some news and notes here from the Warriors that we should probably address. Draymond, Jonathan Kuminga, not insignificant in terms of filling out those minutes. So let's go to Golden State. Probable. So everybody's probable. Cool. So fully healthy team here at home. And then one last thing, Western Conference standings. I want to look at the Warriors and how important wins are because their road record is bad. Warriors are 6th seed and they are barely above play-in status, huh? So yeah, they need to string together some wins. Meanwhile, Suns without Kevin Durant, they have a chance to backslide from being home court advantage in the first round. And Warriors can go forward. And Warriors would really like some home court cooking in the postseason from if their season road record says anything. So yeah, this is meaningful basketball here. So I'm willing to max minute project just about everybody that matters. And that's why I like Devin Booker ceiling quite a bit, even more than the projection here. It was 9.5. Okay, the value on Paul was this morning at 9.5, bumped up. Yeah. Sub Jamal. Hey, where did we get on subs today? We started at 25, right? 25, 85, 25. Right. So we got +5. If you're out there lurking, you're not subscribed, try to hit 10 new subs a day. If you like the vibes, 2 things: hit that thumbs up and hit that sub button. And then if you want to get a notification when we go live, you should probably hit that bell. You don't have to. If you want to, hit that bell, let you know when we go live. We usually go live every day during the week. All right, main event tonight. Milwaukee Bucks, Sacramento Kings, also at 10 p.m. A lot of late night hammer potential tonight. Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Chris Middleton, maybe not. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez up against De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. 244.5 total, 2-point spread in favor of the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. So certainly, I pulled this starting lineup from RotoWire. So there's a chance that like Connaughton starts or somebody else starts because Middleton had been coming off the bench. But we did just get Joe Ingles ruled out, right? So let's take him off and put him on the out list here. By the way, this spreadsheet right here, this is a perk of having a membership at rundfs.com. You guys can use this to research the slate. And we have Giannis in, right? Or no? Let's see, Golden State or Milwaukee, questionable. So we don't. Are we projecting? I projected Kyrie in for now, but it's certainly a true questionable. It's questionable. And so is Giannis. So Giannis is a unique. Maybe that's another reason why Tatum's projected so high owned is because Giannis is in the final game on the slate. And there's really no panic button because of him being the most expensive guy that would be on the slate by $1,000. So some suppressed ownership. How far is he from Tatum's game? 2 hours? Man. So you guys know how to use Cruncher, right? What I would say with this situation, because I do think it's going to be worth having some Giannis if he did play, unless word comes out that he would be limited. Because the Bucks are favored here, right? No way the Bucks are favored if against the Warriors at home if Giannis is out, right? Like that doesn't feel like it would happen. So a little tip and trick. I'm sure you guys know about it, but every now and then I want to throw a bone out there because there might be some young bloods. But for Giannis, if I wanted to play Giannis, oh no, this is wait. Okay. You know what? On let's see, on Cruncher, they would throw him in the util spot as much as possible anyway. I'm gonna say make sure we throw Giannis in the util as much as possible. That's fine. Luckily he's in the last game, so the Fantasy Cruncher will crunch in sequential order anyway. So hopefully he'll drop either in the forward spot or the center spot a lot if you are using Cruncher to manage your lineups tonight. And if we were into Giannis and put him in a util spot, he is $1,500 more than Steph. So we probably end up getting into some 2v2s. But I think it's worth having some Giannis because I don't think that the Bucks would be 2-point favorites if whoever set that line thought he wasn't going to play. He's projected for 6%. Okay. All right. And then my comfort level on everybody else really is contingent on Giannis's status. I'm projecting him in from this far out. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And when I say Warriors, I mean Kings. My brain just like took a fart. On the Kings side, Sabonis is 10K. He's another guy that's just kind of floating in the top 10 in raw fantasy points, top 5 right now. So 52 fantasy points. So if we lost Kyrie and Giannis is flimsy and Tatum is in minus 12 fantasy spread jail, there's definitely a strong chance Sabonis could be one of the slate leaders in fantasy points, and he's coming in at 13%. Interesting. My bold prediction is Gobert sit and Naz Reid smash. I'm just also said news comes out before slate starts. Yeah, it's definitely possible. We've seen Reid also start and then like get in foul trouble. It's annoying. Yo, we have about 300 viewers and not 100 likes. Come on, y'all. Hook me up, man. Gas me up. Show me some love. Appreciate it. I don't have a ton of interest in 9K Drew Holiday and 8K Chris Middleton almost as is, but especially if Giannis was in. So, and same with Brook Lopez. So it just feels like those prices are adjusted to the Giannis, the recent stretch of Giannis being out. So I feel like this game is Giannis or nothing for me. I guess if Giannis were to be out, there's a 50+ fantasy point range of outcomes for Drew Holiday in this matchup. So I guess that I would get to some, but I wouldn't get to a ton of it. And that's pretty much it. All right, let's wrap up. If you guys got lasting questions, comments, concerns, throw them at me. And we'll visit anything that we need to visit. Eight in fantasy points. Do you want that? Let's see. I'm at 45. That's really doggone high. And he is at 37. So there's a 7.5 point fantasy point projection discrepancy between that. So I don't mind it. I'd take the over. Sure. Warriors are falling apart. Are they though? Western Conference. I feel like the Warriors are not quite the Nuggets because the Nuggets are closer to 500 on the road, but the Warriors have just insane home road splits, right? They're 28-7 at home while being 7-26 on the road. So they've only got one more loss at home than the Nuggets. So, those are teams, and, in today's scenario against the Suns, they want some home court advantage in the playoffs if they can get it. So they're just different. They're just different at home. Appreciate you, Donnie. Hitting the like is proven to increase your odds of shipping. It is. It's scientifically proven to exponentially increase your probability of being optimal tonight. Yeah, teams sit the switch in the postseason. All right, tomorrow. I'll tell you what. I think we should be able to stream tomorrow. But I will say, in the real world, there's going to be some changes soon in terms of my surroundings. So there might be a couple days where I don't stream, but I'd let you guys know on Twitter. So you should be following me on Twitter. But assuming that something doesn't happen tomorrow, we should be in for a 8-game slate. And I'd try and crank up as close to 3 p.m. as possible. As possible. Who's your top player right now on PrizePicks? So here's a list. If you guys came in late, doing some research. Was digging Killian Hayes over 22.5 points and assists. DeJounte over 5.5 assists or 37.5 fantasy. Anthony Edwards over 43.5 fantasy. That's borderline tier 1 for me because I had like a ridiculous discrepancy. Let's see, Edwards. I had him at 50. Right? Is that right? 50. So that's about like a 7-point discrepancy. Not as big as I thought it was, but that's big enough. And then tier 3, I don't mind Wiseman over 30 fantasy points, Trae Young over 10. And then the first half props on Brown and Tatum for the Celtics game. Didn't really write anything else other than that, but I'm cool with those for now. Here, I'll put that in the free Discord, and I guess the regular Discord as well. It's the premium Discord and the free Discord. Wait, this one. I'm gonna pay up for Booker, but I have Green and Edwards on FanDuel. Am I missing something? Green and Edwards? Green. Draymond Green? Jalen Green? Basel Day, appreciate you for the sub, brother. What's up, Mamba? Any stack rules for today? 4 Yankees within 2 hitters of each other. No, probably just max 3 Pacers, max 3 Pistons. I don't really. As far as like group rules though, maybe you want to drive a wedge between Isaiah Jackson, Noah, I don't want to play Brissett, but Jalen Smith, maybe those 3. As long as that lineup doesn't come out funky if Buddy Hield doesn't play. Any other negatively correlated guys that could coexist? Maybe Tillman and Aldama. That's probably it. Taking a break for a bit. That's cool, man. Recharge. DFS is exhausting and it's really hard. And I've been talking about this with my community, my premium community, my peers in the industry quite a bit. There's a major shift that is kind of showing a decline for DFS, where there's not a lot of new users to DFS. A lot of new users that would play DFS are just playing prop betting. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of also seeing that in the content, the viewership, the conversions. I would say our viewership is still pretty good here because we kind of cover everything and you guys are just like super sharps. But like if I was a nobody and I wanted to start a YouTube channel today for DFS, it would just be so hard because no one's really looking at that. So taking a break and reassessing, you know, what you're attacking or what you want to play is just fine. Every now and then we need to recharge. So I hope you have a good break and hopefully you come back sharp and ready to go. You have a broken arm. Oh, shoot. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear about that. All right, did I miss anything before we get out of here? All right, I'm out of here. You guys go check out that deeper dive. Hit that thumbs up on your way out the door, man. I appreciate you making part of my afternoon. Be part of your afternoon. Tell somebody out there you love them because I love you. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.